Liverpool Football Club have rejected bids for both Wataru Endo and Sepp Van Den Berg. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Yes, today's video is going to centre around these two players right here in Wataru Endo and Sepp Van Den Berg, both of whom in the past few days, few weeks, however long it's been, have been subject to much transfer speculation linking them with a move away from Anfield this summer. And if reports are to be believed, within the past 24, 48, 72 hours or so, it seems that Liverpool Football Club have already rejected bids for both of these players throughout the course of the summer transfer window so far. It's left many to speculate whether or not these two will actually leave Liverpool this summer, whether they will actually end up staying, or whether one will go rather than the other. But in this video, we are going to be talking about both of these players. We're going to be talking about the reports that have come out about both of these players in recent hours or so. So without further ado, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both of them is always very greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section as well. Let me know your thoughts, your comment, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That'll make a great and interesting reading, I'm sure, down below. So please do get involved. Would love to hear from you all on that. But without further ado, let's get on with the video. Let's talk Liverpool, Wataru Endo and Sepp Van Den Berg. And we're going to start with the Endo stuff first and foremost. It was revealed last night by James Pearce that Wataru Endo was subject of a transfer bid from French club Marseille, in which Liverpool had turned it down. As we can see here, James Pearce goes on to state that Liverpool have rejected an offer of €14 million, which works out at just over £11.5 million, from Marseille for Wataru Endo. Now, Fabrizio Romano goes on to follow up on that from James Pearce, and he basically states that Liverpool rejected approach from Olympique Marseille for Endo before they signed Ismail Kone and Pierre Højbjerg. Talks around €14 million, as James Pearce reports, but already collapsed weeks ago. Marseille are focused on other signings and other positions. And then, just to round things off with David Lynch, he states that Liverpool have turned down a €14 million bid from Marseille for Wataru Endo. A number of German clubs are also interested in the midfielder, and a higher offer could tempt the Reds into selling. Now, if any of you have focused on the videos that I've done about Liverpool within the past couple of weeks or so, you'll know that one of the areas that I specifically want Liverpool to focus on is the defensive midfield position. I said that in the aftermath of Liverpool's pre-season victory over Real Betis a couple of days ago. I basically said we need to focus on that position. Wataru Endo had a poor game. You could maybe put it down to a bit of rustiness in pre-season. You could probably put it down to maybe still adapting to the style that Arne Slot wants of him. I personally I've never seen him to be a worthwhile addition to the Liverpool team. Now, don't get me wrong, when he arrived at Liverpool for around about £16 million, I absolutely ran this guy into the ground. I said, this guy's not good enough. I don't know what we're playing at. I don't understand. But last season, he definitely proved me wrong. He definitely proved me wrong. He was absolutely outstanding for most parts of last season. He was brilliant. He definitely put me to shame in my comments and everything. And he definitely got a lot of... He definitely made a lot of people eat their words, so to speak. He definitely proved a lot of people wrong, shall we say, when it came to the comments before we'd even seen a ball be kicked of him in a Liverpool shirt of Wataru Endo. My only concern this time around is that obviously he's getting a year older. It's a different system. It's a different way of playing. It's a different manager. He's also a year older. Like, for just under £12 million, we get the majority of our transfer fee that we paid back. Why not go for it? Now, if we can get a higher offer, then of course that will obviously be different, and I'll obviously say well played to the negotiating team if we can get anywhere close to the $16 million that we spent on him last summer. But I've always said we need to strengthen that position, whether it be in terms of numbers, whether in terms of being quality, because, like I say, although Wataru Endo was brilliant last season, there's no reason to suggest he's going to follow on and replicate that kind of form this season. we've also had Stefan Bajcetic coming back from injury. He's going to be playing more and more predominantly, you would hope and imagine. Hopefully the worst of his injuries are behind him. So he's going to be filling that role. It is good to have the experience and leadership of someone like Endo. Don't get me wrong. But when I see that Liverpool have done no business in this transfer window, when I see that Liverpool last season put in a 115 million bid for Moises Caicedo, and yet there has been no transfer business other than Ryan Gravenberch, who was a fraction of that price ever since. I'm questioning where the money's gone, and I'm questioning what the thought process is of not strengthening that area in particular, which we clearly know needs strengthening. Endo is not going to be a long-term solution to that role. And Bajcetic, as good as what I think he can be, as good as what I think he is right now, and still has the room to grow and evolve and get even better in that kind of particular position, he's obviously not completely there yet. And I think competition will only do him good as well. So I do have to question whether or not this is obviously the right move going forward for Liverpool, whether this is the right way to go. But for me, as good as what I think Wataru Endo was last season, I just don't see him being a long-term solution, given his age, obviously. And I think we should be trying to get as much close to that 16 million that we spent for him as possible. Marseille, like I say, they according to Romano, they came in a few weeks ago. David Lynch seems to suggest that there are German clubs that are interested in taking him on, so a return to the Bundesliga might not be a bad thing for him. It might also be on the cards for him this summer. So there's a lot there to work with in terms of the potential of what could happen to Wataru Endo going forward. But, like I say, obviously only time will tell on this. But it would mean that Liverpool would have to dip their hand in their pocket this summer. And, you know, I've refrained from extreme criticism of FSG and Liverpool so far this summer. I'm going to continue until I think the time is right. And when the time is right is when I believe when the ball is being kicked for the beginning of a brand new season. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see, obviously, how that moves. But I've already said we need one DM. If we get rid of Endo, we may need two. Bajcetic, like I say, as good as what I think he is still young, inexperienced. And not only that as well, but having come off such a big injury last season, that obviously led to other injuries occurring as well. You never know if he's going to quite hit the ground running again. You never know if he's going to quite be what he was when he left to obviously recover from his injuries. You never quite know. You never know if he's ever going to actually live up to that expectation again. So there's a lot of question marks surrounding Bajcetic. Obviously, Tyler Morton's still in the picture, but I would imagine maybe another loan spell for him if obviously a big enough offer doesn't come into it, and depending on what Arne Slot wants to do with him. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how that DM role kind of progresses and grows, I guess, under Arne Slot, and obviously with the potential of a sale of Wataru Endo going on this summer. Moving on though to Sepp Van Den Berg, and this one's a much more open-ended story. Like with Endo, I guess you could make the argument that he will stay this summer. Sepp Van Den Berg, I've said I think he's gone. I said before I think he's gone, and I don't really have any change of opinion of that, shall we say. We obviously know he is considering his options. We obviously know that he's kind of giving it this pre-season, seeing if he can work his way into Arne Slot's plans, and if not, he's going to seemingly want to force a move out for the betterment of his career, and I can't really fault him for that. But the news coming out within the past 48 hours or so seems to suggest that this guy is seriously considering his options, and that Liverpool have rejected a bid for him. Now, the first part is him considering his options, and this is obviously a report from the Daily Mail, which says that Liverpool youngster Sepp Van Den Berg admits 20 million price tag is majorly high, but insists he is ready to rise to the compliment and fight for a place in new boss Arne Slot's plans. 20 million for this guy who's had a couple of decent loan spells here and there. I think you can look at it as too high. But then you see some of the other names that are going in the Premier League that are being sold. And you see that they are nobodies with no Premier League experience other than the fact that they have played for a particular manager, whether it be a Man City youngster or maybe they've got very little Premier League experience or next to no Premier League experience, and yet they're being sold for 25, 30, 35, 40 odd million pounds. Sepp Van Den Berg is at least someone who has had a bit of experience playing in the Championship. He's had a bit of experience playing back in the Bundesliga and the Eredivisie and things of that nature. I don't see 20 million being low. I don't think we're pricing anyone out of a move for him. I don't really think it's anything more than what other teams are willing to pay for other players of that nature. Now, you could also argue that maybe there is FFP reasons for that. Maybe they are buying players for over the price and for overprice, and then obviously they're selling a youngster back to compensate for the difference or whatever the case may be. But it's still very weird to me. 20 million for me is not pricing him out of a move at all. I think it's actually fairly respectable. Maybe maybe a couple of million here and there as a negotiating fee. Might also be what the negotiation process is if we do decide to sell him and if someone does come in for him. But of course, it is a benchmark that we are looking to get as much out of as possible. They then go on to say, or Fabrizio Romano goes on to say, should I say, about Sepp Van Den Berg, that he understands that PSV Eindhoven have sent a formal bid to Liverpool for Sepp Van Den Berg at the end of last week, worth around 10 million euros. Liverpool have immediately rejected the proposal. So, Liverpool looking for more than that. And to be fair, if someone would have told me, and I have no sort of business experience or even remotely anything to do with obviously the transfers at Liverpool, of course, 10 million euros for Sepp Van Den Berg, I would have laughed at you and told you to get out of whatever negotiating room we are in. Yeah. 10 million euros works out at roughly about probably £7.5 million, roughly, give or take, in pounds. That was never going to be accepted. Now, of course, if that's just negotiating and we're just testing the waters out, then maybe there can be a deal. Maybe he does go back to the Eredivisie. Maybe we just go from there. But it is going to be very interesting to see how this move does go about. Whether or not he will be able to force his way into the plans. Because the reports is that this guy is particularly impressing in pre-season. Now, if those are to be believed, then those are to be believed. Fair play. But, as I did say in a previous video, the amount of times that I have seen a player get bigged up a lot in pre-season, this guy's doing great. He's a model professional. He's really working hard in training to try and force his way into the manager's plans. They're often the people that get sold for a bumper of the price because teams go, oh, well, maybe they don't want to sign him, but we really want him, so maybe we'll have to put in a few more million on the table to really get him away from this club. I think he does go. Whether it's going to be an initial loan followed by a permanent transfer, I'm not sure. Whether it's going to be a permanent transfer this season, I'm not sure. I think he's out the door. And like I said, I can't blame him. For the betterment of his career, I really can't blame the guy for wanting to leave. There is the possibility that maybe Arne Slot does want to sort of keep him around and obviously does want to kind of implement him in his plans going forward and slowly bleed him into the senior squad and then of course the starting lineup and all of that. If that is to be the case, then I have no reason to obviously be objective to that. But at the same time, if money is there to be made on this guy, and obviously if the bid enough is high, then yes, obviously take it. Take him. But I'm interested to know what you guys think. What do you make about this whole Wataru Endo, Sepp Van Den Berg thing? I'd love to know what you guys think and feel on these two players. Like I say, would you get rid of both of them? Would you keep both of them? Or would you get rid of one or the other? I'd love to know what you guys think. These are, of course, the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you call it, of me. I want to know what you guys think and feel. So please do use and abuse that comment section, people. Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings of yourselves on this particular transfer story. Would love to know what you guys think and feel down below. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way up. Enjoy the video. Subscribe if you're new. Want to see more content like this. Both things always have for a greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. And I'll see you and speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.